All right, this is Queen B. I am coming at you with Black and Grown in Glendale. So I got another video for you guys. Today we are talking about jobs. Do you have one? What's going on with you with that? I got some amazing ladies here who are going to talk about their jobs. And this is an opportunity for them to come on and to speak. But I don't want them to just tell me about their job. I want them to tell me how they got their job, what their job is like, what it's about. And this is a way to encourage you to also go after your dreams of that dream job that you want. So we have these ladies on. I'm going to introduce them. Well, you know what? I'm not going to introduce them. I'm going to have them introduce themselves, right? So we're going to have each lady come on and introduce themselves and tell us what they do. Be as descriptive as you want. Time to pump yourself up and tell us everything that you do. Okay, we'll go ahead and start with Rakaya.
Hello, everyone. Hopefully everyone's having a wonderful day. My name is Rakaya LeBeau. I'm general manager and owner of Coleman Equipment Rentals. Coleman Equipment Rentals is a minority woman-owned business that specializes in new and ongoing construction projects in Los Angeles and Orange County. We provide aerial equipment, and that means anything that puts people or material in the air. My massive fleet includes 19-foot scissor lifts all the way up to 180-foot ultra booms. Here to service the Los Angeles community, woman-owned minority business.
Yes. All right. Okay, so now can we have Chloe go? Could you tell us, give us your name, what you do, all of that good stuff.
Hello, everyone. My name is Chloe Kinney, aka Cousin Chloe. I am the owner, operator, creative director, all those titles of Cousin Chloe Face and Beyond. And basically what that is a makeup services company where I, of course, am a freelance makeup artist, as well as I also provide tutorials and things like that via YouTube. And I do one-on-one virtual lessons for people who want to get into makeup and want to learn the basics. And I also host makeup parties, and I do those virtually also. Sometimes people want to get their girls together and, you know, do something different and, like, say, play in their faces, or as the term is, get beat, work on their beat and all that stuff. So I do all those things. And also I have a merchandise line called Exist Without Excuses. And what that basically means is, you know, owning the moment and focusing on the big picture. And I have a merchandise line for that also. So that's a little bit about me. And I am in the Houston, Texas area. Sorry.
Oh, okay. Oh, I didn't know that, Chloe. I thought you was out here with me. Yeah, I just met Chloe on Facebook, so this is great. I'm so excited to have her come on with us, and I wanted to show that creative side of things. So yes. So yes, let's have Lisa go next, please.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Lisa Yancey. I am a chief inspector for a large municipality. I have a staff of about 25. Beyond that, I was once upon a time a union carpenter. One of my highlights of my life got me to where I am now. And as a hobby, I am an avid woodworker. That's how I pass my spare time.
All right, thank you, Lisa. Okay, can we have Madeline go? Your introduction.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. My name is Madeline Wright, and I'm a writer, podcaster, and a musician. And during the day, I work as an account manager at Simplecast, which is a podcasting company that helps enterprise clients launch their podcasts. I like to say that I work at the intersection of technology, creativity, and business. So I'm always trying to set goals for myself, pursue those goals, achieve them, and set new goals. And I'm also the managing editor of Women of Color Podcasters, wocpodcasters.co, which is a community for helping women of color podcasters build a network to meet each other. We provide workshops, we provide job resources, and other opportunities to speak at conferences to help them grow their skills and grow their network.
All right, thank you. See, this is amazing. I'm telling you, I know some amazing people that do amazing things, and I had to bring them on here to highlight them. And so I so appreciate all you guys coming on here. Yeah, this has made my day and my week. I'll say that. Okay. So Okay, let me just say, let me go back. So one of the reasons why I wanted to have this video, I wanted to do this video because, we're in the quarantine, people lost their jobs, people's jobs changed, and that can be kind of difficult, but it can sometimes be a good thing. It could be the good thing. It could be the thing that changes you. So when I come up with these videos, I usually have that one question and I create the content around that question. So the question that I have, this is my main question that I want, and I want you guys to give us the story, give us the details of it. What events or what led you to this job, to these amazing jobs that you have? This is the thing that I really want to know, because oftentimes we become very comfortable. We go right, you go right, you go right. Everything's comfortable. It's when you have to go left that you feel uncomfortable. It's where that discomfort comes in. But usually that's where your success is when you have to go to the left. So I want to know from you guys, what led you here? When did you go left? And then you found that success in your jobs. Do you guys have any of those stories?
I actually have a story.
Yes.
About how I got into this industry. Like I mentioned before the video started, I've been in construction about 19 years. I was a controller for an HVAC company for 16 years. I basically ran a company, started from the receptionist, worked myself all the way up, studied school, whatever. Pretty much ran the business. I looked at the owner as a father figure, and it came to a point that I reached my ceiling where I was at. There's nothing I can do but own the business and run the whole thing. A colleague of mine in the construction industry by the name of Sharon Coleman, I know her very well from working with her at different projects, because like I mentioned, I was in the HVAC field. So, we supply the mechanical, which is HVAC systems and stuff like that. So I did all the paperwork, compliance and everything. So through the years of knowing her, we built a rapport, and I used to talk to her about how I was kind of frustrated where I was at. Someone reached out to her wanting to start equipment rental company. And she wanted me to be her general manager. Went into work one day and gave my resignation. I was gone. That was like July of 2018. And I just took it and just did everything else from scratch. The fictitious business statement, started the company, tax ID, payroll, everything you could think of, from getting all the certifications for all these agencies, the city, being a minority women. I did all the, footwork and legwork. In addition with that, creating some relationships. I just took it around with it. Me and my partner, effectively in 2019, I became the owner, 51% owner of Coleman Equipment Rentals. And I took it and it went to the stratosphere, basically.
Yes, girl, go ahead.
So that's pretty much
Get it. That's
how
what
I
I'm
got
talking
into this.
about. But wait, Ricardo, I want to ask you this question, because you said a lot of stuff there.
Okay.
Did you have to overcome any fear at that point? I know I
Yes.
I'd be like,
Well, the biggest fear was I used to be afraid of heights. So, mind you, my equipment takes you up in the air. Okay.
Yeah,
I'm going from 19 feet to 185 feet.
Yeah, see.
So
See,
I
that's
had
the
to
part I'd be like, yeah, no.
So I had to overcome that.
Yeah.
I mean, you happen to know me, so I have a very strong personality. So I'm like, I'm gonna conquer it. So I finessed it,
Wait, but how did you feel when you walked in that room with all of those white men? How did you feel?
I was a little, I was a little nervous, but I still have an air about myself that I wasn't going to show it.
Yeah, you weren't going to show it.
Leo, we think we run everything. I was inside, I was shook, but I didn't want to show that because I already knew I was coming in as an underdog.
All right, girl. I love it. I'm telling you, I love it. Who else? Who else got stories? I love, this is the part, I'm telling you, this is the reason why I really want to do this. I like hearing these stories of people and how it came to be. Anybody else has a story?
A brief story. So by day, I work in the hospitality industry, but of course, I'm here as a makeup artist, so I definitely enjoy that part of it. So I want to say about maybe 5 years ago, there was a lady named Deandra Giselle. She's actually a makeup artist in in the California area. I think she's in LA or somewhere in that way. Either way, she used to do a when Periscope, the app Periscope was still popping. She used to do morning, like a wake up to makeup was what she used to do each morning. And I've always been kind of a colorful person and interested in things that are creative and things like that. So I've always kind of worn makeup, just, growing up, and I was a cheerleader and all that stuff in high school. So, you slap on as much blue as you can and some glitter, because our school colors were blue and white. So, a lot of blue, a lot of glitter, let's sparkle. But of course, I didn't know what I was doing. Nevertheless, so each morning she would do these kind of makeup shows where she kind of did a get ready with me, where she was just doing her makeup and teaching you how to do your makeup, but she was doing her own. And I started watching, I was like, she actually, she does a good job. She's very thorough. I really like the way she teaches. So I kind of started doing my own, like paying more attention to my own makeup, and really kind of took a liking to that. So I probably about a year, almost 2 years of just doing my own makeup. And I would, post pictures and people would be like, oh, your makeup looks good. Will you do mine? And I'm like, no, I know how to do mine. I don't know how to do anybody else's. I'm like, if you're a different skin tone or anything like that, I'm not about to mess you up. So finally, too many people just kept asking, will you do my makeup, or will you at least teach me? And I'm like, well, you know what? Let me see if there are any classes, because in the state of Texas, you don't have to be certified or have any type of license in like cosmetology or anything like that. So I was like, well, let me see, there's got to be a class or something that I can take. So I did find a place that was doing like certifications, and they taught you about, the color chart and things like that, and how to, blend this and blend that or whatever, and how to, make match shades. Because the most important thing is, eyeshadow is any color can go on anybody, but when you're dealing with people's skin tone and things like that, undertones, you want to make sure that you're matching people and making them look nice and natural and not making them look like a totally different person. So what I did was I went and got certified. And once I got certified, then I felt more comfortable actually taking clients. And I started taking clients, and, I really enjoyed the reaction that I got from people, because they've said, you still made me look like myself. You enhanced my beauty, versus I look like a totally different person. Because I think that's the thing I don't like sometimes is with other makeup artists. And again, if that's the request of the client, that's perfectly fine. But a lot of people, they just want to, like I said, they want to glam it up a little bit, but they don't want to look like a totally different person. So once I got certified and I started actually making myself like take clients and kind of advertising, and actually, was it last year or year before last, actually, I went and actually like opened my business, where I have an actual separate business account. I have a website now and things like that. And because I actually started honestly taking it more seriously, I was able to start growing my clientele. I work with a lot of models and stuff like that who do, photo shoots and things like that. And then the other thing is, with my YouTube channel, I transformed that into a show I call Fab Talk, which is Face and Beyond talk. And what I do with that is the first half of it is the face part, where I actually do your makeup. And the second half of it is the Beyond part, where I do kind of what you're doing, where I talk about you and what you do with your company or your business or your service. I have friends that have podcasts and small businesses and stuff like that. So it's a way for me to, first of all, highlight my makeup skills, and then also highlight their business or company or whatever. So I do that. I have a series. I do that once a month with somebody. And I've had literally people who own businesses, podcasts, teachers that have other small businesses and things like that. So I really try to take it seriously and hone my skills to connect all types of people.
Oh, that's wonderful. So I want to ask you a question though, because you said people were telling you that you were good at this, or they liked the way you look. But at that time, did you ever consider being a makeup artist? Was that ever a thought in your head? No.
Not at all. I honestly was like, I'm an only child, and at the time I wasn't married, so it was like, I just need something to do in my free time when I'm at home. I lived alone, so I was just like, I just kind of want to get better. And you go look at some old pictures from back in the day, and you thought you were cute, and you're like, oh, that really wasn't, no.
Yeah, exactly.
So I had no intention on ever like taking clients or charging or anything like that. It was
Yeah.
literally a hobby. I was like, I like makeup. I want to get better at it. And that's all it was supposed to be. But that definitely is
Yeah.
funny.
And that's great because oftentimes your hobby does come into a job or some type of money generating thing. Yeah. So yeah, that's great. I like that. I'm gonna have to call you. You know that, right?
I do virtual consultations and I will travel.
A virtual thing. I like that virtual. Cause I be trying. Okay, I be on the Jackie Anna and all them videos, just trying to figure it out. I just can't. But anyway, anybody else have any stories about how they came to be in their job?
Sure, I'll go. My story starts a long time ago, back in 1991.
Uh-oh.
So at that point in my life, I dropped out of college. I was spiraling. I mean, I was in trouble. I didn't know what my life was going to be. So I'm driving around this beater car with like less than a quarter tank of gas, where this major sign that says women needed, 310, blah, 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 construction. Right now, I got nothing to do. What's it gonna hurt to make this phone call? Make the phone call. Turns out it was a program called the Century Freeway Program. What that was it was a very, very like pre-apprenticeship construction program for minorities. And how it got started was when the 105 was being built along that Century corridor, a lot of homes were bought and some were taken by eminent domain. And of course, most of those homes were owned by minorities. And so to compensate for that, the United Brotherhood of Carpenters, UBC, and Caltrans put together this Century Freeway program to allow minorities to go through this program and then put them to work on the 105 freeway. So the Century Freeway program was how I got started. At that time, it was 12 weeks for women and 8 weeks for males. Went through this whole program. They got to do a variety of look at a variety of trades. They worked on your math skills, they worked on your English skills, and you got to choose the trade of your choice. Once you completed the program, they paid your initiation dues for the union of your choice, give you first set of tools and first set of work boots, put you to work on the 105 freeway. And that's where I started, on the 105 freeway as a union carpenter.
Wow.
Fast forward to 1996, I journeyed out, got my journeyman's card as a carpenter, worked a few more years. I worked on the Staples Center, City Hall seismic retrofit, a bunch of big projects around the city. But as you may or may not know, construction is very physically demanding. It was extremely rewarding, and I was more money than I ever thought that I could make. It's very demanding, but you can make good money for a blue collar worker. No college degree required. So as time went on, you start to have these aches and pains, back, knees, everything starts happening. And I'm wearing, 30, 40 pound bags, working high, working in holes, working in tunnels, everything that you could think of, any work environment that you could think of. Dirty, dusty, quiet. It was great for the time being. Somehow I landed at another city department, and they said, you got to take the civil service carpet. You got to take the civil service. Went in that way, and eventually I landed as an inspector, worked my way up through the ranks at this building department. I've been there 20 years. There's been one female manager at a time, period. So at this day and time, I am the only female manager, and I just happen to be Black.
Yeah. But I want to ask you this question though, Lisa. Look, I think that there is divine things that happen. I think that the reason why you was on that road to look at that sign and to read that.
Right.
I mean, you were in a situation where you were looking, you were looking for something. you can call it divine, whatever you want to call it, but whatever it was, you know, I talked about going to the left. To me, that was like, okay, I could keep going to the right, but what is that really? It's proven to really do nothing for me. And now you took that opportunity because you know, for me to say that you went and started working on the 105 freeway, it's like, well, what were you doing on the
Yes.
105 freeway? That can be difficult, and as you say, it is physically demanding. That's what I think about, stuff like that. So thank you for that story, Lisa. Now, Lynn, what you got, girl?
Yeah, so one thing I want to just throw out there or stress to anybody who is thinking, careers are just, go to school, get a job, and work your way up. That's not how it worked for me at all. I would say that it's not a straight path by any stretch. So for me, I went to school, graduated from UCLA, and looked for a job that had nothing to do with my major, but it's because I was following what I was interested in doing. And that took a while to land somewhere. I actually started temping at a school in an industry that I wanted to end up in. So although I didn't major in, kind of doing the things that I was interested in, I had a geology degree. And I just started temping and working at different companies of interest. So I landed at top entertainment companies. I was temping at places like Disney. Um, I would do a job, and a couple weeks later, they call me back to sub and do another job. And so I started building my network in the area that I was interested in working at. And eventually, I was able to land a position that was at least, I think, a month-long stretch. And I saw an announcement that said, "Hey, we're looking for interns." So I was like, "Oh, let me try to apply for an intern because I'm a temp. Maybe I can get into an internship." Fortunately, I got that internship, and I was able to do a full-time 6-month internship at Disney, which was, um, a very, I guess, imprinting experience just to kind of learn what the corporate world was like. From there, most of my experience has been at top Fortune 50 companies, working in tech, working in entertainment. I worked my way into, well, at the time it was DirecTV. Now it's a different company. I worked at Yahoo. I worked at lots of different companies that were basically at that intersection of technology, business, creativity. Became a producer, working on websites, working with different groups that were located in different time zones. So that was interesting in terms of learning how to work with people that basically are out the door when you come back from lunch. So how are you going to structure your day and kind of plan out what needs to get done, right? So one thing that really helped me was building my network. It's just learning how to manage relationships, right? Do things that you're interested in, go to activities. I consider myself an introvert, but in terms of doing things that I'm passionate about, I'll go to a meetup or a networking event just to meet other people, find out what they do, and just kind of, express curiosity and learning something new. And I think having that ability or having that interest has led me to where I got to now. Because one thing I ended up being really interested in was podcasting. So I went to my first podcast meetup back in 2014, and I thought that this was amazing. People can have their podcast and talk and use their own voice to kind of get what their point of view was that they wanted to express to the world. I went to the meetup, but I didn't actually start my podcast for about 4 years after that. I don't know. I don't know what uh, led me to be so hesitant in starting, but I just felt like, oh, maybe it's not the best idea. There's a lot of different things of like the timing not being right, or just my equipment not being right, or just I don't know what to do to take the next step, right? And so the idea was just to surround yourself with people who are doing the thing that you want to do. And hanging out with podcasters who are already podcasting, they can help you in terms of if you have questions and you want to know what the next step is, or you want to know about strategy, all you have to do is ask your network. And so that's kind of one of the things that helped me get started, because I joined a challenge to start a podcast in 30 days. So I was in a group of people and all of us had that shared goal. So that's what I did over the 30-day period. I basically looked at the prompt, tried to do whatever the prompt was, and get ready for the next day. Do the same thing the next day. After the 30 days, I'd say I got about 2 weeks worth of progress through it. So I did not do it within 30 days, but I had learned the steps that it takes to go from beginning to launch, right? So again, still in the networking, still talking to podcasters and learning more about the industry. Then there comes another challenge in November, which is it was a national podcast post month. So the challenge was every day post a podcast episode, which sounds insane, like going
Yes.
from not podcasting at all to podcasting every day. And I was like, okay, look, I didn't get through the 30-day challenge, but I think this challenge I can do and just jump in and start, because there was no time to be perfect, no time to think about anything. It was just get started, right? So November 1st, I started my first podcast, my first episode, and I did that for 30 days, just short 5 to 7 minute episodes, did that for 30 days in a row, launched my podcast, got it out there. And now I can say that I'm a podcaster, and I can tell people to go to, madvox.com and listen to my
Yes.
podcast. So who I presented myself to other people in my network, people would say, oh, hey, there's Madeline. She's a podcaster. And I'd say, well, yes, I am. That writing, still sticking to creative projects. But I think having that podcast under my belt gave me the confidence to pursue other goals that were related in that area, podcast. And so now I work in podcasting. I have a path to doing the things that complement my skill set, something that I'm interested in, and I work with a group of people that I think are amazing, and I learn something new from them every day.
Your story is amazing because it's through this network, and a lot of you guys are talking about that. You gotta know some people. You gotta really, and not just know people, but connect with people. And not burn those bridges, because you don't know when you're gonna need that person to move you forward. So I love hearing about that. But I want to know from you, Madeline, you went to school for geology, but did you always know that that wasn't what you wanted to do?
That's a really funny story because it was kind of a process of elimination in school. I mean, you can't major in science, you have to pick one. So geology was kind of one of those things that when I was little, I was interested in it. When I was in school, I was like, okay, well, I don't really want to major in chemistry. I don't really want to major in math. But hey, this major takes you on field trips and you get to explore. And it seems like it's really interesting. It takes a little bit of a lot of different areas of knowledge and puts those together. So I was like, yep, that's a good major for me. So I chose that one, and I was the only one. I was the only
Yeah.
Black person in my major, and it just had to, get used to just being in an environment where it was just very different than what I was used to.
Okay, ladies, I want to ask you guys this question. So I really enjoyed these stories. I mean, it was just for me. I just like hearing these stories and how people are led to different places and led to their success. So I want to ask you guys this question. What is something that's within you? So we all have that thing with us. And I said that, we all have that thing in us, and it never dies. It never died. But what's something that's in you, a skill that you have, or just that innate thing in you that makes you successful at the job that you do? Could it just be your assertiveness, just your whatever it is? What's something that's within you that makes you successful at your job?
I think for me as a makeup artist, I'm creative, but I also listen. So like I said before, my job isn't really to transform you to look like a totally different person. My job is to enhance the beauty that you already have. And so a lot of times I'll have someone in my chair, or I'm giving a lesson, and they'll, say, oh, well, this doesn't work for me, or I tried this and this doesn't work. And it's like, well, no, let me, tell me why. Like, let me explain to me why you feel like this particular, item or product or whatever doesn't work for you. And a lot of times they may just be using it the wrong way. So instead of just coming in like, oh no, that's wrong, do it my way, it's like, no, let me see how you do it. And then we can, enhance or correct what might not even need to be correct what needs to be corrected or enhance what you're already doing to make it better. So, but a lot of times you really have to listen. And I think that's kind of what also sets me apart from other makeup artists is that I do listen and that I do take heed to what your desires are, because you can, show me a picture. A lot of times they'll come in with an idea in mind or a picture in mind and say, I want to look like this. But the picture, I'm like, you don't have that facial structure or you don't have those eyes. So let me explain to you why, it may look better this way, or this is, I can make it look similar or whatever the case may be. And then I allow them
Maybe
to.
that's my problem, because I be trying to look a certain way, girl, and then it's don't be coming out. So I do need you. I need you. But listening, I like that you said listening, because listening is a skill that a lot of people don't have. And it's a good skill to have.
Well, I have an internal drive. I got my own internal push. I
Yes, you
happen to
do.
be a single mom. I have 3 children, 2, a 25-year-old, she's a nurse in college right now for kinesiology. I have a son who'll be 28, dual master program. I sent him to the military 17. Did his thing in the Army, very successful young man, very proud of him. So I think it's that internal push, initially being a teen mom and technically considered a statistic, in addition with being African-American, just to push to win and just strive for better things in life. And just pretty much proving to myself, it's not about anybody else, that I can be a better person today than I was yesterday. With things I do in life. I think that's what I have. I have an internal push. That's what makes me successful, and strive for better things. Yeah.
I like that, Ricky. Okay, anybody else? We'll move on.
Yeah, for me, I'd like to say, my mother used to always call me stubborn. Stubborn as a cow, Mataris the bull. So there you have it. I think it was just sheer determination. I'm from Memphis, Tennessee. So I told my grandfather.
I didn't know this. Lisa.
Been here since '83. So when I told my grandfather, who's, old school, women are women and men do men things, women do women things, he's like, no woman's supposed to swing no hammer. That's just, like, okay, watch this. And I love my grandfather. He is my, he was our father and grandfather. So he was very dominant in the family, but, it's just like you tell a child, no, do something, I'm going to do it. That just makes me more determined. A lot of naysayers along the years, because like you said, the trades are white male dominated. Only because of the Century Freeway program was I introduced to the trades, and so were a lot of other minorities. That's how there was the push to get us into the trade and kind of diluted, so to speak. So yeah, sheer determination. Turns out it was the best thing that ever happened to me to let me on the path and the trajectory that I'm on right now. And I always wanted to be a homeowner, and I do all of my own work on my own house, and I help my friends. And besides, Jesus was a carpenter.
That's right, Lisa. Go ahead. All right. Natalie, did you have anything to say on that one?
Yeah, one thing I believe that helped me is just learning to follow through and do what you say that you're going to do. It's a lot harder than you think, right? If you're like, oh, I have some kind of thing, I'll send it to you later. Like, it's really challenging to remember to follow through. And I think doing that kind of helps you build that muscle, which can serve you well in the future.
Yeah. I have that issue too. I'm really big on, just say, okay, I'll do that. But I already know in my head, I don't want to do it or whatever. And so, I'm working on that. And so I asked that question because I do, if we have listeners out there who maybe have that same skill, that listening skill, that whatever it is, that may be something also that they can pursue also. So this next question I want to ask, because I asked about you, now I want to ask about the job that you have. What is it about your job? What is it about your job that makes you want to come in and give 100% of yourself to be successful of your job? So what is it? What exciting? Because I'm gonna tell you, I'll be truthful. Okay, it's the money for me. Okay, that's what makes me show up every day. But is there something else about your job that that just makes you want to put it all in there?
So what makes me want to give 110% every day is the fact that I'm equipment rental. So there's a lot of big companies out there. I don't want to give other people free advertisement, but it's a lot of big companies out there. And for me to be on certain projects, that's a big deal. Considering there's a lot of big companies out there. And I've been successful at being at a few big projects. Like we were just a United Airline project, and I had two 135-foot booms out there, some brand new JLG ones. So that made me feel good being a minority business, a woman, having two big pieces of equipment out there at a project of that magnitude. So that makes me push every day to have more equipment on some of these big projects. And it's a lot more difficult than it seems.
And you'll be surprised who's looking at you. It's not just your family, it's other people in the industry or even outside of the industry who's looking at you for inspiration. And you have those eyes on you. And so sometimes, that pushes you to even
that too.
More.
You have eyes on you. And I mean, it's good for good and bad things. I mean, sometimes people may want you to succeed. And then sometimes people may think, okay, this person shouldn't be doing, whatever the case may be, you never know what people's intentions are.
Exactly.
So you have all eyes on you at all times. And, I want to succeed because I have employees. I have people that depend on me.
Yeah, exactly.
For their lifestyle, their livelihood, they have children. So I take it personal. So, I push every day to make sure I have equipment on rent. So, I can keep providing and build business.
Yeah, I like it, girl. Anybody else?
I'd like to say really quick to give it 100% every day or 110%, it would be integrity. Where I'm from, the South, I mean, there was a time that you couldn't do anything to embarrass your parents. And so, personal business is just that. Professional, you keep them separate. So, I can't embarrass my folks. I can't embarrass myself. So it's a matter of pride and integrity. And people are watching.
Yeah, exactly. All right, ladies. Okay, so we do have a virtual audience, a small virtual audience. So we're gonna, let me just say, thank you guys for doing this. I so appreciate it. I got some good information here. I'm thinking I might need to change my profession. I'm trying to retire though, really, but I thank you guys for doing this for me. This is just for me. It will be out on our YouTube page and made public, but it really was just for me though. But we do got some questions. We got a couple of questions and answers. I want if you guys can indulge with me with this. So this is for Chloe though. This question is for Chloe. Okay, this person is thinking about becoming a traveling technician, a nail technician. I guess they'll come to you to do the work, I guess. So they want to know, when you bill people, when you invoice people, do you itemize things out or do you just give them one fee for that? Because I guess their question is about, do you charge different for the travel, for supplies and things of that nature? How do you do your billing?
So for my billing, I have a fee for the service itself. So for example, if you book me to do your makeup, we'll just say bridal makeup, and there's a travel fee involved, then there's a line item for makeup application, and then there's a line item for travel. So if there is travel involved, I mean, I usually quote it as one price, like, and again, I'm just throwing a number out there, $200. But that's going to include the travel. But for me, when I'm, like I say, doing the invoice, it might be, $175 for the makeup and $25 for the additional mileage that I had to do or whatever. So I like to personally put the travel separately on the itemization for, mostly for tax purposes. And the way I break down, I keep a portion of it for myself, and then the other portion I put back into the business. So but the travel I keep 100% of, because that's gas.
Yeah,
So,
exactly.
so that's kind of how I break it down.
I think that could be intimidating for someone who's thinking about starting a new business. Like, well, I don't even know how much to charge for things. So yes, thank you for that. So, and then there's one more question for Lisa. If this person is thinking about doing construction, they don't say what, but is there any particular type of classes that they should take in college or trade school or whatever? Or do you recommend? Sure. Yeah.
You could seek out one of the trade schools. If you're local, like Los Angeles, there is LA Trade Tech. And also there is Pasadena City College, which has an excellent construction program that could get you into construction. As far as being an actual construction worker, I would say seek out a trade union of your choice. And I know for a fact that LAX is engaging in picking up minorities and women for the massive amount of construction that's going. So they do have entry-level programs to get minorities and women into the trades.
Okay, very good. Okay, and then there's one more question. I think this is for everybody. Is there a particular feeling you have when you go into work and when you leave work, or just one or the other? Like, do you feel excited, nervous? Is there any type of feeling you have when you go into work?
I think for me, because again, I'm more on the creative side, when I go into somebody, especially if it's somebody new, I always have a little bit of nerves, just because I'm very picky and I'm very particular, and so I'm always kind of nervous, and I'm like, I don't want to spill eyeliner on their cheek when I'm done. So a little bit of nervousness, but then once I'm done, I am like peacock proud when I give them the mirror and they're like, oh my gosh, I love it. So that's very fulfilling for me. I'm a words of affirmation person. So to know that I spent that hour and a half, doing things to make that person feel a little bit better about themselves, or, feel beautiful about themselves, or teach them how to feel more beautiful about themselves. It's very gratifying to have those moments. So like I said, I come in just natural nervous jitters, just in general. And then I leave just like, super excited.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. All right, ladies, thank you so much. I got to keep saying thank you, okay? Because this was just like a thought in my head, and the fact that it's really came to formation is like exciting for me. And I got to talk to Madeline. Girl, you got to help me with the podcast part of it.
Yeah, let's connect.
Yeah. I'm gonna be calling all you people, calling all you guys for some. I don't know about the rental part, Rakaya.
I mean, I know the industry you in, it's people that have projects going on. I mean, like Lisa mentioned, there's billions of dollars at LAX right now. I have some equipment out there right now at the Conrack, an ITF project out there. So, I mean, it's people that need equipment. I mean, everywhere. So you never know.
I'll be reaching out to you.
Most definitely. There you go. Hook that up. Connect those dots there. Okay, thank you guys so much. I so appreciate it. So we're gonna go ahead and end this video. I so enjoyed everybody coming on. And if everyone could just kind of close out, tell us how to contact you if you want to be contacted. If you don't, it's fine. And just give us a closing of everything today. We'll go ahead and start with you, Rakaya.
Okay, it was wonderful meeting everyone this afternoon. You can reach me. My name is Rakaya LeBeau. My email address is Rakaya, spell it RAKIYAH at Coleman-equipment.co. You also can go look at my website. It tells a lot about the company, as well as all the equipment that I rent and I have available at my yard. My yard is located in Paramount, California. I'm local and I'm here to service you. Also, I forgot my phone number is area code 323-285-3150. That's my office number. And my mobile is 323-873-0243.
All right. Thank you, Rakaya. Okay, Chloe, we'll go ahead.
Again, as Rakai said, I really appreciate the opportunity to talk and share more about everything that I do. I am Cousin Chloe Fab, FAB for faceandbeyond.com is my website. And you can find pretty much everything there. It has my phone number. It has links to my YouTube channel. It has links to my Instagram to learn more about everything. So cousinchloefab.com, and that's COUSINCHLOEFAB.com. And as far as on the personal level, I just have a regular Instagram page of Cousin Chloe. So without the fab. So I have a fab and then just regular Cousin Chloe. So all things, like I say, all things there. So, but you go to my website and you can find everything as far as YouTube, how to book with me and all that good stuff. So I really appreciate it.
Thank you so much. Okay, Lisa, you can just say your name, Lisa.
Lisa. I'm really eternally grateful, Viree, for this opportunity. As you know, I was a little bit hesitant because I am a recluse. I'm just not out there, but that's just me. So, but I appreciate you getting me out of my little comfort zone, put my little face out there, my little story. Everybody has a story to tell, but I really do appreciate that. So
Lisa,
thank you.
I had to have you on though, because you don't know. Okay, I won't give too much information, but I was in pursuit of Lisa's job. I was out there, and you were the one I looked at. I was like, I want to be like Lisa.
Thank you.
It didn't quite work out for me, but that's good. I'm happy that you made it though. So I had to have you on here. Okay, Madeline.
Yeah, like all of the other ladies, I just want to thank you for the opportunity. It's been a lot of fun. And if anybody resonated with what was said on my end, you're welcome to follow me on social media. I'm amadvox on Twitter, Instagram, Pinterest. You can also go to my website, amadvox.com, AMADV as in voice, OX.com. And also, if you're interested in listening to my music, you can go to mynameMadelinewright.com and check it out there.
All right. See, now I did a proper closing. So now I gotta say thank you for everybody for coming, for doing this for me. Like I said, this was just in my head, and I'm glad I was able to do it and to highlight you ladies. And I hope to even put more out. Now, why are you in my shot? Get out of my shot.
That Mr. Hand.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.